December 1944. The Ardennes Forest. The German offensive has smashed through American lines, creating chaos in the snow. Panzer columns are rolling deep into Allied territory, expecting to find disorganized, panicked troops. But inside their command vehicles, German intelligence officers are listening. They are scanning the airwaves for the sound of American panic. But they don't hear silence, and they don't hear traditional military codes. Instead, they hear something terrifying. They hear voices, thousands of them. It sounds like a chaotic mob. Check the barn, watch that tree line. Hey, I need ammo over here. To the German commanders, raised on strict discipline and top-down orders, this sounded like anarchy. But it wasn't anarchy. It was the sound of the American infantry's secret weapon. A weapon that didn't fire bullets, but fired information. To understand why this was revolutionary, you have to look at the battlefield before 1940. For thousands of years of warfare, once an army started moving, the commander went blind. In World War I, if a platoon got pinned down in a crater, they were isolated from the rest of the world. To get help, they had to send a runner. That meant a young kid sprinting through mud and machine gun fire just to deliver a piece of paper. Most of them never made it. Armies used carrier pigeons, which were unreliable. They laid telephone wires, which were immediately cut by artillery. The fog of war was real, and it was deadly. Units fought alone. They died alone. Enter the Galvin Manufacturing Corporation, later known as Motorola. In 1940, they looked at the massive backpack radios of the time and asked a radical question. What if you could hold a radio in one hand? The result was the SCR-536. The soldiers called it the handy-talkie. By modern standards, it was laughable. It weighed 5 pounds. It had a range of only 1 mile on a good day. It had terrible battery life, and if you got it too wet, it died. But it was magic. For the first time in human history, a platoon leader on the front line could speak directly to his company commander without wires. He didn't need a code clerk. He didn't need a heavy generator. He just pulled out the antenna, squeezed the switch, and spoke. This device changed how Americans fought, especially where the terrain was the enemy. In the Pacific, the jungle was a nightmare of green hell. Visibility was often less than 10 yards. Japanese tactics relied on confusion, infiltrating lines, cutting wires, and isolating units. But with the SCR-536, a Marine patrol deep in the bamboo wasn't alone. If they spotted an ambush, they could whisper a warning instantly to the main force. The Japanese relied on shouting or runners. The Americans relied on invisible waves. Then came Normandy, the hedgerows, the bocage. These were ancient earthen walls topped with thick bushes. Every field was a fortress. You couldn't see the enemy until you were stepping on them. German defense relied on hidden machine gun nests that would tear an infantry squad apart. In 1918, that squad would have been slaughtered. In 1944, the sergeant grabbed his handy-talkie. He called a tank. Sherman, put a shell in the left corner. Boom, the nest is gone. The coordination between infantry and armor became tight, fast, and lethal. The Germans called it unfair. We called it teamwork. So why didn't the Germans copy it? Germany had brilliant scientists. They had jet engines and rockets. Why not a handheld radio? The answer isn't technology, it's resources and philosophy. Germany was starved for copper and rubber. Building millions of tiny disposable radios was an industrial impossibility for them. Their radios were masterpieces of engineering, complex, expensive, and reserved for officers. The American philosophy was different. Make it cheap, make it rugged, and give it to everyone. The SCR-536 was built like a brick. It had no power switch, you just pulled the antenna out to turn it on. It was soldier-proof. If it broke, you threw it away and grabbed another one from the supply truck. Germany fought a war of scarcity. America fought a war of abundance. This radio did something else. It changed the culture of the U.S. Army. German doctrine was Auftrag-Taktik, mission-type tactics. It was good, but it was rigid. Information flowed up, orders flowed down. The American army was noisy. It was chatty. The handy-talkie encouraged constant communication. Private soldiers knew what was happening. Sergeants could make decisions based on real-time intel from their neighbors. It created a networked battlefield decades before the internet. When a German unit was flanked, they often didn't know it until too late. When an American unit was flanked, 5 other units knew about it in seconds. By the end of the war, Motorola had produced over 130,000 of these units. They were everywhere, from the frozen forests of the Bulge to the black sands of Iwo Jima. It wasn't the atom bomb that saved the life of the average GI. It was this 5-pound brick of vacuum tubes and batteries. Today, we take it for granted. Every soldier has a headset. We carry smartphones with the world's knowledge in our pockets. But it started here. The SCR-536 proved that information is ammunition. It proved that a soldier who can talk is infinitely more dangerous than a soldier who can only shoot. Hitler wanted Wunderwaffens. He built massive tanks and V-2 rockets, but he missed the point. The ultimate weapon wasn't a bigger gun, it was a smaller radio. Thanks for watching March of War. If you want to see how these radios coordinated the tank battles of 1944, check out our animated map series on the breakout from Normandy right here. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next battlefield.